Hey guys, so this video is going to be for testing the brake light switch on a 2009 Hyundai Elantra. Okay, but it'll work for every year Elantra that uses this style brake light switch with cruise control. So to start with, the reason this is out of the car is because the customer had a complaint that they had no brake lights, and whenever we checked it, which was also in for state inspection in PA, they didn't work, so it failed. So we have to figure out what was going on with this. The guy told me that his dad had put a brake light switch in it in the past, and he just kind of went from there. So I said, okay, let me take a peek at it. Verified the concern, pressed the brakes. I had nothing. I popped the high mount brake light connector off, put my test light to ground, and had somebody hit the brakes. Verified that I had no power heading back to the brake lights. So I went up under the dashboard by the brake pedal assembly, looked up. This guy is sitting in a bracket. Touching my finger here is the brake assembly, and pressing the brake pedal, and this was moving. It was moving a good bit. So it was moving. I thought I had a good contact point, so I went for electrical testing. I unplugged the connector. I tested for power at pin 2, which these are labeled 1, 2, 3, and 4 by the wiring diagrams provided by Snap-on. So I had power, which means I had power going to the switch. Tested it not coming out of the switch whenever we moved the brake pedal. I also went into the fuse box quickly and checked the fuse. The fuse box is on the driver's side of the dashboard, right where your knee sits at the bolster. There's a cover you just pop off that has fuses written on it, and then the back side of that cover has the list of fuses and their description. So really pretty simple to try to figure this out. So what I do is I took this off the car and I put my meter here on a continuity scale. You know, every time you hear that beep, the battery inside the meter has completed a circuit. So this says we have circuit, we have flow through my black lead, where I touch, through my red lead, and back to the meter. So it shows we have basically a path for electricity to the travel. Continuity testing isn't always foolproof, okay? Because you can have a broken wire, and the pretty limited flow through this meter can still make it over a few strands of wire that are still touching each other. Not the best form of testing, but for a simple brake light switch, this will do, especially for everybody at home. You could have this under resistance only if you have a basic meter. So I take it, set her down here, just so I can do this. Touch pins 1 and 2 together. We have continuity. Press the pin. Breaks contact. Let go. Press in. Release. Press in. That shows that the electrical switch between pins 1 and 2 is working. Now pins 3 and 4. Release. No continuity. Press in. Continuity. This tells me that the electrical switch contacts are working inside of this switch, which says it's actually doing its job. So if you take a look at that meter, currently reading OL, out of limit, out of range. So we have, it also uses resistance. There is 1.4 ohms of resistance, very low amount. Look, it even, wow, that's a very annoying sound. So yeah, low resistance. So I doubt we have a major issue inside of here. So this switch is actually working. Now, what I came to find is, and I took this off the car to test it, make it easy. So I want to reinstall it in the vehicle, which it's basically 2 of these nuts, and it sits in a bracket, and then the lower nut pinches it, and you tighten this one down, and it just pinches the sensor onto a bracket. But you can adjust it in and out to pull the sensor in and out for the plunger to hit properly on the brake pedal. Well, I installed it, and boom, I had brake lights. but they wouldn't shut off. So that just goes to show me the plunger wasn't being pressed in far enough or being released far enough to work properly. So I messed with the adjustment on it, got it just right, found a sweet spot till the lights were off, until I pressed the pedal and released it, and boom, everything was working properly. So this was a misadjusted brake light switch, and I tested it with my meter. You can use this to determine a bad one, like I said, pins 1 and 2, test for continuity, then pins 3 and 4. You just hold your leads there. You can go get a $5 voltmeter from Harbor Freight. Something like this was to the tune of $75 if you do frequent